Israel and Hamas have agreed to a new 3-day ceasefire, the aim of the truce to achieve a long-term negotiated settlement. But as CCTV's Stephanie Freed tells us, prospects for reaching a settlement beyond the 72-hour deal appear remote at this point.
Another 72-hour ceasefire declared between Hamas and Israel, announced just 2 days after the previous ceasefire expired. 2 days marked by dozens of rockets and mortar shells fired from Gaza into Israel and more than 100 Israeli airstrikes on Gaza. Both sides seemingly reluctant to accept the Egypt-brokered ceasefire agreement.
There is an Egyptian proposal to extend the truce for an additional 72 hours, and this proposal is under review, and it will depend on the position of Israel in the midst of the negotiations. At no stage did we declare Israel's military offensive was over. The operation will continue until its objective, the restoration of quiet over a protracted period, is achieved. I said at the beginning and throughout the operation, it will take time and stamina is required.
But Israel cannot escape global pressure to end a month-long military campaign that has claimed nearly 2,000 lives and left Gazans without electricity, running water, and basic supplies. At the same time, Egypt is pushing Hamas to ease concession demands and halt rocket and mortar fire on Israel's cities. Negotiations between the parties are scheduled to take place in Cairo on Monday. The aim, a long-term agreement that will halt the current fighting and end a cycle of violence between Hamas and Israel that has persisted for years. Hours before the 72-hour ceasefire was to go into effect, Israel continued striking Gaza. Gaza militants continued firing rockets and mortars onto Israeli cities. Israel's government has repeatedly said there will be no negotiations as long as the rockets and mortar fire continues. An intelligence analyst here says Hamas has enough mortar power to continue firing for years. Stephanie Freed, CCTV, Tel Aviv.